money. I'm honestly baffled that so many conservatives are going so hard on something so libelous and defamatory as calling Disney pedophilic. Don't they know that Disney has some of the most well-paid, well-staffed lawyers in the country? If they get sued, similar to the Dominion voting machine critics, it will be a great silver lining. Yeah.
I don't like libel laws, and I don't want to encourage Disney's lawyers.
I think, that's the one thing that occasionally, I don't want to support Disney in any way, but that is the one thing that occasionally I think right-wing content creators like brush up against like reality and the fact that other companies, this country does have laws about that. And it's amazing. I'm thinking about Alex Jones and losing that suit that he recently lost. And the biggest champions of like cancel culture is wrong will defend them up until like that lawsuit actually drops, and it seems like it's gonna, the conviction happens and suddenly they're just persona non grata. It's like, occasionally like spreading these kinds of rumors have rather actual consequences in the real world, and there's been a effort online to insulate people who spread these kinds of rumors online, or who spread just like out and out say lies online to raise their sort of their earning potential in certain spaces, that to insulate them from the consequences of doing that offline, whether it be like the lawsuits from Dominion or Disney, or from just the victims of their propaganda. And that's all just been encompassed under like the conversation of like cancel culture. Should someone be canceled just for their ideas, even if those ideas are that Disney is making like pedophile coloring books?
Well, one of the things they're trying to do, though, and possibly partially, is to try to avoid any scenario where they could actually get into legal trouble. And funny enough, they're doing it, and this will also harm children who this actually happens to. They're trying to redefine the term groomer and grooming to begin with. There's like this image going around that I've seen a lot of conservatives share with the definition of grooming. And this is not the definition of grooming, but this is what they're claiming it is: the deliberate act of bringing a child into a sexual, political, or racial ideology, practice, cult, or lifestyle without the knowledge or consent of his or her parents, for the aim of isolating them from their family so the external party can abuse and manipulate them. That is not what grooming is. Let's be crystal clear what grooming is. Grooming is when someone builds relationship, trust, and emotional connection with a child or young person so they can manipulate, exploit, and abuse them. It has to do with being exploited sexually, sexual abuse, child trafficking. That's what grooming is. It's not when a child learns something about politics in school that you didn't want them to learn about. That's not grooming.
Well, they're also trying to muddy the waters around grooming, because we know, and this occasionally pops up around the country, that Republican legislators are big defenders of those sort of child marriage laws that pop up.
I'm sorry, they're literally making,
one right now.
There's an effort right now to lower the age of consent for marriage.
No, not just lower it. They want to be rid of it. No age of consent. If the marriage is between a man and a woman, says the specific bill that Tennessee is trying to.
I think
because that's not grooming. That's not grooming, right?
Well, I mean,
even though the kid is underage, that's not grooming.
Well, I mean, it speaks to like that it speaks to their desire to muddy the waters around grooming, but also, they feel like in the case I think of Tennessee, like they're providing religious exemptions for it, but stuff like that, like Christianity or traditionally valued American ideologies in their minds, like racism or homophobia or sexism, that kind of indoctrination does not count as grooming up until a point. I mean, up and including the point in which like it prescribes like child marriage or uneven relationships between like people at different like levels of power and other relationships. So like we know that they're also just trying to like make sexual predation more acceptable amongst other things.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's ultimately the only way to really arm a child against sexual abuse really is to let them know what is acceptable sexual touching, when it's acceptable to have sexual touching, and what is unacceptable. And this whole entire freak out is actually making kids more susceptible to being victimized.
Omega's Henron Dragon. Sorry, Daily Wire. I can't hear that over Candace's possible love of Tiana as the first black princess of Disney. Gay characters kissing in Eternals. Or the Marvel films and Star Wars. Valkyrie mourning her girlfriend, or Deadpool being pansexual. Wait till they find out Birdo from Super Mario is essentially a trans character. Not aware of that.
Yeah. Or that Tweety Bird's a boy. They're not gonna hate that.